Dalet Chet. The citizens of Jericho did six things, for they
Hold
have.
on, we're in Dalet Zion.
I went too far. Sorry. Okay. Went too far. Oh, I'm in the wrong place. Okay. Again, as usual. Okay. Dalet Zion. What happened here? We're in the wrong place. Dalet Zion. Okay. All right. We may set up coops for chickens on the 14th, and if brooding can escape, we may return her to her place. If she died, we may set another in her stead. We may sweep away from under the animal's feet on the 14th, but on the festival, we may only clear it away to the sides of the stall. We may take utensils too and bring them back from the house of the craftsman, even though they are not satisfied, needed for the festival. The citizens of Rico did six things, for they have reproved them, and they have not reproved them. And these are the things for which they have not reproved them. They grab palms all day on the 14th of Nisan. They wrap the Shema, and they reap and sack prior to the Omer, but they have not reproved them. And these are the things for which they have reproved them. They permit the branches which were sacred property for personal use. They eat the fallen fruit from beneath the tree on the Shabbos, and they give payah for vegetables, and sages have reproved them. King Zekiah did six things. Concerning three, they agreed with him, and concerning three, they did not agree with him. He dragged the bones of his father on a bier of ropes, and they agreed with him. He crushed the brazen serpent, and they agreed with him. And he hid the book of remedies, and they agreed with him. Concerning three, they did not agree with him. He cut the doors of the temple and sent them to the king of Assyria, but they did not agree with him. And he stopped up the water to the upper Gilgal, but he did not agree with him. And they intercalated Nisan and Nisan, but they did not agree with him.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, okay. Now we're going into the procedure of bringing the Korban Pesach itself, and starts
Yeah.
off by introducing with the Tamid, because the Tamid is the more frequent thing, and we have a principle that Tadir velo Tadir Kadim. So you first have to bring the Tamid before bringing the Korban Pesach. So the basic rule of the Korban Tamid. Tamid nishchat b'shmone umechza v'karev b'tisha umechza. So your general case is you've got your tamid in the boker in the morning. We're not talking about that one because the Pesach is brought in the afternoon, so we're talking about the afternoon tamid. So your general time for bringing the tamid, if you divide the day into 12 hours, okay, then you bring it at 8.5 hours. In other words, if you start off where let's just say we're going from 6 until 6 in
Right.
the right. So if 6 is 0, then 7 is 1. So basically add on 6 onto what we've got over there. Shmona mechza is 8.5 plus 6 is 14.5. So in other words, from 2:30.
Right.
From about 2:30 in the afternoon. So it's shechted at 2:30. V'kare b'tisha u'mechza, and it's brought by the time that you get to 3:30. Okay, that's on a stam day. But Ba'arvei Pesachim, when it comes to Erev Pesach, because there's going to be a lot of people who all bring Korban Pesach, we have to bring the Korban Tamid earlier to make way for all these people. Nishchat b'sheva. So now we will shecht it at the seventh hour, which means that at about 1 p.m. Sorry, so 1:30. B'sheva mechza v'karev b'shmona mechza, and it'll come onto the mizbeach by 2:30. Bain b'chol, bain b'Shabbos, and that doesn't matter whether it's on a weekday or if it's on Shabbos itself. However, the one exception is Erev Shabbos. Chal Erev Pesach lios Erev Shabbos. So now you've got an extra thing that you got to worry about. Not only do you have to shecht all the Korban Pesachs before Shabbos comes in, but you also have to roast them before Shabbos comes in. Right? On a regular Pesach, you'd be roasting it at night as well. But Shabbos doesn't override the roasting. You kind of since you can roast it Erev Shabbos, you have to roast it Erev Shabbos, and it doesn't override Shabbos. Okay.
There's something I don't understand. On,
Mhm.
on the eve of Pesach, we do it like say 1:30, 7, but then at 2:30 you have to make the offering. 2:30. How do they do all those people in
No, no, this is talking
in
about the Tamid. That's talking about the Tamid.
this is the Talmud? So okay, okay,
We're talking about the
all
Tamid
right,
there. Okay. And
Still,
then
it's a lot of people.
we're going to see
Yeah.
as the period goes along, there are going to be a lot of people, and we're going to see that there are three separate groups of people who come in to do the Korban Pesach.
Okay.
Okay. So now if Erev Pesach falls on Erev Shabbos, so now Nishchat b'sheish, so the Korban Tamid is shechted b'sheish umechza. So at the earliest possible time, which is now like 12:30. Just you couldn't take it as early as 12 because when the sun's like totally high in the sky, it's not entirely clear. They don't have watches, wristwatches to see. All we can do is judge time by where the sun is. So you got to know that the sun is slightly towards the west, and the earliest time that you can really discern that would be from a little bit into the afternoon, like 12:30. Let's see. Okay. The karev b'sheva umechza, and then it's brought by the it's brought on the mizbech by 7:30. Pesach acharav, and then all the korban pesachs get brought after the tamid is done. All right. HaPesach sheshchato shelo lishmo. We actually did this, of course, in Maseches Zvachim, right? We had the beginning of Maseches Zvachim is all dealing with korban that was brought. Jeez, I'm sorry, my back is total spasm.
Oh.
Just got to move myself around. This is why I was in shul over here this morning because there was no way I was going to make it to KSY. Um, um, Okay, so the Pesach that was shechted for the wrong intention, um, and any of the avodas, right? We've got the four avodas. You've got shchita, you've got Kabbalah, halacha, and zrika. Four different melachas that of the korban that all have to be done with the right kavana. So if they were shechted for the wrong intention, for the wrong kind of korban, the kibel v'hilech v'zarak shelo lishmo, or lishmo v'shelo lishmo, or what happens if he had intention for some of them and not others, or shelo lishmo v'lishmo, or he first had the right intention and then got it wrong. In all of these cases, the korban pesach is pasul. Okay, and the difference between we saw in Zvachim that all the other korbanos, the only two korbanos that are pasul completely with the wrong intention, and that is the chatas and the Pesach on Pesach afternoon. All others can still be brought on the mizbeach, even though you're not yotzei your obligation, but you can still put them on the mizbeach. Okay, so Ketzad lishmo v'shelo lishmo. What does it mean partially for its name and not for the right intention? L'shem Pesach or l'shem Shlamim. He first thought of it as a Pesach and then as a Shlamim. Shelo lishmo v'lishmo or l'shem Shlamim or l'shem Pesach. So and it turns out that it doesn't matter what order you think about them and do it wrong. Okay, Mishnah Gimel, Shchato shelo le'ochla v'shelo le'miniyav. Now, what happens? It's not a matter of thinking it's the wrong kind of korban. It's thinking it's for the wrong people. Now, who are the people who are allowed to eat the korban pesach? It's got to be for people who are going to people who are capable of eating a kazayas. But if you've got somebody who's sick and is unable to eat a kazayas of meat, then the korban pesach cannot just be for them. Also, for people who are not part of the kvutza, you have to be signed up for a particular korban pesach. You have to make a group of people who are all together for a korban pesach. Somebody who is uncircumcised is also not allowed to have part of the korban pesach, whether it's justified or not. You could have somebody who, for medical reasons, is unable to have a bris milah, and that's fine, but they're not allowed to eat a korban pesach.
Mhm.
And if somebody is tameh, they're not allowed to eat the korban pesach. Okay, unless the majority of Yisrael is tameh, in which case you still eat it betumah. But those are some categories of people who cannot eat it. Now, the Mishnah says, what happens if you shechted this korban pesach having intention for people who are not able to eat from it? Shelo le'miniyab, people who are not part of your group. La'arelim, for people who are uncircumcised or for people who are tameh. Then it is pasul. You shechted it and it doesn't have anyone who can eat it.
Mhm.
La'ochlav v'shelo la'ochlav, what happens if you had in mind for everyone? you thought that okay, I'm shechting it on behalf of this group of people plus Fred who's also who he thinks is also part of the group, and it turns out Fred's actually not part of the group. Um, Lemoniav Lemoniav, or that's what that was the Fred is not part of the group. Le'ochlav v'shelo le'achlav, he includes in his mind somebody who's incapable of eating ekazayis. Lamulim v'la arelim, for people who have a bris milah, and also for the dude who hasn't had a bris milah. It's meim v'la tahorim, and he has in mind also for people who are both tamei and tahor. Nonetheless, that is kosher because as long as you've got some valid people in your mind when you're shechting this animal, then it's fine. Even if you had a faulty thing, just because you thought about somebody who wasn't valid doesn't make it invalid, as long as there are some people who are. Shchato kodim chatzos. What happens if he shechted it before chatzos hayom? Pasul. That's not a korban pesach. Okay, mishum shneimar bein ha'arbaim, because it says bein ha'arbaim. It has to be in the afternoon. Shchato kodim letamid. What happens if you got all excited about doing the Pesach and shechted it before the tamid was shechted? Nonetheless, it's kosher. Ubilvad sheyehei echad b'maris b'damo. So what's your answer? If he shechted it and somebody comes up and he says, "Hey, what are you doing shechting your Pesach? They haven't brought the tamid yet." He says, "Oh, whoops." So now what he's got to do, he's got to sit there stirring the blood to make sure it doesn't congeal until they've brought the korban tamid. Once they brought the korban tamid, okay, now let's carry on with the avodah. Ad she'yizrek dam tamid. Ve'im nizrak, and if nonetheless the blood was thrown of his korban pesach before the korban tamid, nonetheless it still is kasher because tachlis he did it the wrong way. It should have been after the tamid, but you don't passel the korban just because you got the precedence of which one should come first wrong. They're independent korbanos, and okay, you did wrong, but nonetheless it's kosher.
Okay.
All
All right.
right.
Cuff base. Chametz of a Gentile over which Pesach has passed, deliberate deriving benefits from it is permitted, but chametz of a Jew deriving benefits from it is forbidden, since it is said, "Nor shall leaven be seen with you." If a Gentile lent money to a Jew on his chametz, then after Pesach deriving benefits from it is permitted. But if a Jew lent money to a Gentile on his chametz, then after Pesach deriving benefits from it is forbidden. If a ruin collapsed over chametz and is regarded as removed, Reb Gamliel says, provided a dog cannot search it out. One who eats truma of chametz on Pesach inadvertently must repay a kohen, the principal plus a fifth. If he eats it deliberately, he is free from payment and from liability for its value as fuel. Okay.
Yeah.
I think there's one more. Yes,
No,
one
no,
more.
no, no, that's it.
No, that's it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Good. Okay. We're
Erevin
on to
Pesach.
Erev Beis Hay. Additionally, Rabbi Yehuda ben Bavar said a gardener or kopef that is 70 amas and a fraction by 70 amas and a fraction and is closed by a fence on 10 tefachim high, we may carry within it, provided it contains a watchman's hut or a dwelling or is near a city. Rabbi Yehuda said even if it contains only a cistern, a ditch, or a cave, we may carry in it. Rabbi Akiva says even if it contains none of these, one may carry within it, provided its area is 70 cubits and a fraction by 70 cubits and a fraction. Rabbi Eliezer says if its length exceeds its width by even one amas, they may not carry in it. Rabbi Yossi says even if its length is double its width, we may carry in it. Said Rabbi Eli, I have heard from Rabbi Eliezer even if it is a base core, and I've also heard from him if one of the residents of a courtyard forgot and did not participate in the Erev, his house is forbidden to him with regard to bringing it into it and taking out of it, but it's permitted to them. I also heard from him that one fulfills his obligation on Pesach with Ravim, but I made the rounds of all the students and sought collaboration, yet I did not find. Okay.
One more.
That's any food may be used to make an erev or a shituf except water and salt. Any food may be purchased with tight funds except water and salt. And one who vowed to abstain from nourishment is permitted water and salt. And one making an erev for a nazir with wine or with an Israelite with truma, Simcha says with non-truma. For a Kohen in a base of pras, Rabbi Yehuda says even in a graveyard because it may go make a partition and eat. Okay.
Okay.
Good. Okay. And we have my sasheni. Okay. Uh, hey, Yud Vav. According to all your commandments which you have commanded me, however, if you separated Ma'aser Sheni before Ma'aser Rishon, he cannot make the confession. I have not transgressed your commandments. I did not separate from one kind for another kind, nor did I pluck for the unplucked, or from the unplucked for the plucked, nor from the new for the old, and from the old for the new. And I have not forgotten. I did not forget to bless you or mention your name over it. I have not eaten of it in my morning. However, if he did eat it in the morning, he cannot make the confession. Neither have I consumed any part of it when unclean. However, if he did separate from it when unclean, he cannot make the confession. Nor given of it for the dead. I have not brought from it from a coffin, or shrouds for the dead, nor have I given it to other mourners. I have hearkened to the voice of the Lord my God, and have brought it to the chosen house. I have done according to all that you have commanded me. I rejoiced and caused others to rejoice with me. Look down from your holy habitation from heaven. We have done what you imposed upon us. Do you also do? I'm sorry, upon us. Do you also want? You have promised us. Look down from your holy habitation from heaven and bless your people Israel with sons and daughters in the land which you have given us, with dew and rain and with the offspring of cattle, as you swore to our fathers, a land flowing with milk and honey, that it might impart flavor to the produce.
Okay.
Hence,
Oh, that's it. That's it.
that's it.
And
That's it.
tomorrow we're gonna finish and start challah.
Achala, okay. Nida, okay. Neither we have tests. If one was accustomed to experience the menstrual charge at the beginning of the episode, all the Torahs that she handled for the duration of the episodes are Tomei. If at the end of the episodes, all the Torahs that she handled for the duration of the episodes are Tahor. But Yossi says days and hours are also established as fixed periods. If she was accustomed to experience the discharge at sunrise, she is forbidden for cohabitation only at sunrise. Rabbi Yehuda says the entire day is permitted for her. If she was accustomed to experience the discharge every 15th day and she changed to discharging on the 20th day, both this day and that day are forbidden. If she changed twice to the 20th day, both this day and that day are forbidden. If she changed three times on to the 20th day, the 15th day becomes permitted, and she has established for herself the 20th day as a fixed period. For a woman does not establish for herself a fixed period until she establishes it three times, and she does not become free from a fixed period until it is uprooted from her three times. Women in their virginity are like vines. There is a vine whose wine is red, there is a vine whose wine is black, a vine whose wine is plentiful, and a vine whose wine is meager. Rabbi Yehuda says every vine has a wine in it, and that which has no wine, it is a doket.
Yeah.
On to Makaros. Okay. Chet Gimel. If one's wife had not previously given birth and she now gave birth to two males, he must give her 5 selim to a Kohen. If one of them died within 30 days, the father is exempt. If the father died and the sons are alive, and Meir says if they gave while they had not divided the estate, it is given. But if not, they are exempt. Rabbi Yehuda says the estate has become liable. If she gave birth to a male and a female, there is nothing here for the Kohen. If two wives who had not previously given birth now give birth to two males, he must give 10 selim to the Kohen. If one of them died within 30 days, he gave them money to the one Kohen. He must return 5 selim to him. If he gave it to two Kohanim, he cannot exact it from them. If they gave birth to a male and a female, or two males and a female, he must give 5 selim to a Kohen. If they gave birth to two females and a male, and two males and two females, there is nothing here for a Kohen. If one wife had previously given birth and had not previously given birth, now gave birth to two males, he must give 5 selim to a Kohen. If one of them died within 30 days, the father is exempt. If the father died and the sons are alive, Rameir says if they gave while they had not yet divided the estate, it is given, but if not, they are exempt. Rabbi Yehuda says the estate has become liable. If they gave birth to a male and a female, there is nothing here for the Kohen.
That's it.
And we have Gittin. We have Hey Pet. These things are declared in the interest of peace. A Kohen reads first, and after him a Levi, and after him a Yisrael in the interest of peace. An Erev is placed in the same house as before in the interest of peace. The cistern nearest to the channel is filled first in the interest of peace. Traps for beasts, birds, and fish are covered by the laws of theft in the interest of peace. The Yoshi says it is an actual theft. An article found by a deaf-mute, mentally deranged person or a minor is covered by the laws of theft. In the interest of peace, Rabbi Yossi says it is an actual theft. If a poor man is cutting on the top of the olive tree to take what lies below him is considered theft. In the interest of peace, Rabbi Yossi says it is an actual theft. Poor Gentiles are not permitted from collecting gleanings or cotton seeds or the unpicked corners of fields in the interest of peace. A woman may lend to a friend who is suspect regarding produce of the Sabbatical year, a sifter, a sieve, and a handmill, or an oven, but she may not whittle or grind for her. The wife of a scholar may lend a sifter or a sieve to the wife of an unlearned person, and she may winnow, grind, and sift with her, but from when she pours the water, she may not help her because it is forbidden to assist in transgressions. All of these were stated only in the interest of peace, and Gentiles may be encouraged during the sabbatical year, but not for a Jew, and they might be greeted in the interest of peace. If one says, accept this gift from my wife, or take this gift to my wife, and he wants to retract, he can retract. If a woman said, receive my gift from me, and if the husband wants to retract, he cannot retract. Therefore, if the husband said to him, I do not want you to accept it for her, rather take it and give it to her. If she wants to retract, he can retract. If Shimon ben Gamliel says also, if she says, take my gift from me, if he wants to retract, he cannot retract.
Okay. That's
All
it.
right. All right, great. Okay, Mr. Shem, unless I see you in shul, I will see you at 7:45. Okay. Take care of your back. Bye bye.